Storm clouds are gathering over the India-US trading corridor. US President Donald Trump has declared a stinging 25% import tariff on Indian goods. But that's not all. He also said that there would be a penalty for India's continued purchase of Russian oil, which has irked US for the longest time. Now, in a post on his platform Truth Social, Trump asserted that while India is a friend, that's what he starts the post with, relations between the two countries have remained limited due to what he described as excessive tariffs and restrictive non-monetary barriers. However, just hours after this announcement, Trump said that US is still negotiating with India. And Trump told reporters that India has one of the highest tariffs in the world now, but they're willing to cut it very substantially.
As you know, Prime Minister Modi is a friend of mine, but they don't do very much business in terms of business with us. They sell a lot to us, but we don't buy from them. You know why? Because the tariff is so high. They have one of the highest tariffs in the world. Now they're willing to cut it very substantially, but we'll see what happens. We're talking to India now. We'll see what happens.
India's Ministry of Commerce says that it is studying its implications of the move. New Delhi says that it will take all steps necessary to secure India's national interest. And this explosive move comes just 2 days before his self-declared trade deadline, 1st of August, derailing months of negotiations. India had already rolled back tariffs on key American goods like Harley-Davidson bikes and bourbon whiskey, and talks were advancing towards a broader trade accord. And yet, Trump did what he always does. And this is right down Trump's regular playbook. Bargain with a bombshell and then backtrack on it. Now, the same playbook he used with Japan and the Philippines, now thrown at the North Bloc. But India isn't blinking. New Delhi has repeatedly maintained that energy access is linked to national security and that as a sovereign nation, India will buy from a diverse pool of partners, be it Russia, Gulf or the US itself. Now, Trump says that New Delhi treats America unfairly when it comes to trade, and the numbers show a different reality. Let's take a look here. While the US reports a $44.4 billion trade deficit with India, experts point out that the picture changes dramatically when you include revenues from education, digital services, financial operations, royalties, and weapons. In fact, the US enjoys a $35 to $40 billion net surplus with India. And this is according to GTRI data. Now, as New Delhi absorbs this jolt, Beijing has already responded to similar US threats. China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs issued its own stinging rebuke to US threats over Russian oil, saying tariff wars have no winners. Coercion and pressuring will not achieve anything. All right, there's more on this from our correspondent Susan Tehrani, who sent us this report from New York. Let's listen in.
The United States is set to impose a 25% tariff on all Indian imports starting August 1st, part of what President Trump calls a response to India's quote-unquote unfair trade practices and high tariff barriers. President Trump also announced a separate additional penalty not tied to trade but India's continued purchases of Russian oil and military equipment. He criticized India's growing alignment with BRICS nations, calling the bloc, quote-unquote, anti-American. But just hours after that announcement, President Trump clarified that negotiations are indeed still ongoing, telling reporters, "We're talking to India now," adding that a final decision on a broader trade deal could come by the end of the week. India is a crucial U.S. partner, both economically and strategically. It's one of America's largest trading partners, a key counterweight to China, and a major supplier of pharmaceuticals, textiles, and tech talent. Differences seem to remain over agriculture, particularly U.S. demands for access to India's dairy and ethanol markets. In response, Indian officials say that they're reviewing the tariffs and remain committed to protecting domestic industries while pursuing a balanced agreement. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.